Principle number 6, demonstrate leadership behavior. As a project leader, as a project practitioner, you need to demonstrate leadership in your behavior when you are dealing with the project. Now, before we get into the details, let's clarify some key terms. What is the difference between leader and leadership? How the leadership and authorities are probably different, and what kind of a leadership style might be good in today's environment. So, we explored these idea. But before that, we reiterate the principle, demonstrate and adapt leadership behavior to support individual and team needs. That is what we are exploring. Now, many of us may consider leader and leadership as the same thing, yeah, but they are not. Leader may be associated with a title, or sometime person who demonstrate leadership is called leader. So, not necessarily having a title of a leader gives you a leadership behavior. So, what is leadership? Leadership is a behavior, it is a set of activities which helps people collaborating, facilitating, finding the right goal and agreeing to it and chasing that. Ability to influence, ability to create consensus, ability to move people towards a desired goal is an act of leadership. It can be demonstrated by a team member as well, not necessarily a project manager expected to be a leader. Inside your project, there will be various areas and there will be various leaders in their own areas. If you are doing a technical discussion and someone from a technical team can facilitate, lead the whole discussion to make people agree to the right solution or an optimum solution, the person has demonstrated a leadership behavior. So, we should keep in mind that it is not necessarily always associated with the title. It is not necessary that one person is only doing a leadership job. Leadership is a set of behaviors, the things which we observe in people and we can say, okay, these are the things which comes under leadership. Now, many times the leadership also get confused with authority. Now, what is authority? We touched upon it on a previous video a little bit. It is a ability to do exercise a control, make some decisions, spend some money, that you are authorized to do something. Now, authority may not necessarily bring a leadership behavior on its own. Say, one may be authorized to execute project, one may be authorized to work with a team member. That does not necessarily ensure the person is collaborating with people, influencing those team members and leading the project efficiently. In order to lead the project, the person has to demonstrate leadership, just authority may not necessarily be sufficient. Many times, the leaders may also have an authority and good leaders may use and apply authority appropriately to ensure the project objective gets met. Now, further we focus on another term called leadership styles. Now, I am sure many of you must have heard of autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, facilitative leadership style, servant leadership styles. There are so many, so many leadership style. And somebody may ask, okay, what is the PMI's recommendation? I get these kind of questions sometime. So, there is no recommendation. What we need to understand is the different leadership style might be appropriate at different situations. Sometimes when the situations are chaotic, you may need a more directive leadership style where you just need to execute what has been told to you. But generically speaking, in a creative environment, when you are dealing with new problems, you want more collaborative leadership style, more facilitative leadership style. So, by default, if I am getting some situation, I probably presume that I should see an opportunity to apply facilitative and collaborative leadership style over a directive leadership style. But at the same time, as a project professional, we should be always clear that we need to adapt to our leadership style depending upon the situation at hand. Yeah, so, that is a generic understanding of applying leadership in order to achieve project objective. Now, let us look at little bit detail about the leadership behavior, what all I do, how can a person who is working in a project as a project leader or a facilitator, how can I demonstrate leadership? What are the key things I need to do? So, in order to think about that, we can say that this project is expected to produce a result value. Now, you may need to do some set of activities which ensures that this value has been understood, agreed and finally delivered. So, there will be leadership behavior which will be needing from me in the whole project to ensure alignment and delivery of a value. We will look into those probable tools or behaviors in detail, but we are understanding that that's a one type of it. The another type of it is that in order to get that value, I need to get resources, I need to get support. So, ability to influence my stakeholders, my management to provide me desired amount of support, desired amount of individuals, material, so that I can run this project well is the another type of leadership skill. Yeah. So, if I get my support, I get people, I get resources, I am skilled as a leader. So, that is a one type of a behavior. Then once I have these resources and skills, working with them throughout the project and ensuring that they are chasing this particular value and we are taking care of various obstacles which are coming in between effectively so that we can chase that particular value efficiently. So, that is the another type of behavior which is exhibited by the leader to ensure that we are producing the value. In this case, I may need to work with stakeholders, teams and individuals so that we are achieving the overall project value. So, in order to make it little simple, if you look at your standard, you will see so many bullet points written as a leadership skills and behaviors which are exhibited by a leader. And when I was looking at it, I got confused and I thought, how can I organize them little well? So, I thought about this and that's lead to creating a possible way of visualizing this particular way of leadership task activities or skills which helps us in executing project well. So, let me explain the header and then we get into the details. So, I am saying project is more a type of things or a behaviors or a skills I demonstrate in order to get the project objective done. So, that is I am putting under the project. There are stakeholder team and individuals, these are people space. Yeah. So, what all I do when I work with different type of people, these stickies are representing that they are common, which means they will be applicable in all the 3 people domain. We will talk about them one by one, and then I have some areas which are associated with the self skills or behavior of a leader, and then there is an individual in your teams and your stakeholders. So, let us go one by one to understand some amount of behavior of a leadership. So, in a project level, leadership is all about setting the clear outcome, creating a compelling vision, communicating the vision very efficiently and ensuring that we have an alignment on the vision. Because if the different stakeholders keep asking different things and you are unable to give a one voice, there is a chaos. And anyone who is exhibiting leader, it is not only associated with the project manager, anyone in a project team who is exhibiting leadership should be able to clearly define the outcome, align people towards the vision and align the overall stakeholder and the project team towards it. Then once we have a clarity about goal, where we want to go, the second area comes in, how do we plan for that movement? So, leadership is all about facilitating, influencing people to come up with the right plan and decision making so that we can achieve that particular objective. So, a leadership is all about setting up the objective and then coming up with a plan, we can move towards it. Then managing uncertainties. As we learn about system thinking, as we learned about various the uncertainties and environmental things will keep coming in our project, the leadership is all about taking care of those situations by revisiting the planning, revisiting the decision making, facilitating various conversation which helps us in managing uncertainties. And uncertainty management is also associated with visualizing the uncertainties in advance, identifying risk, identifying the patterns which might be becoming dangerous for your project objective. Applying system thinking, you see one problem in one area and you know where this area is going to impact, ability to see that in advance and make sure that we can handle it. It is about a leadership behavior. Managing changes related to managing uncertainties as well. Overcoming obstacles and seeking resources for overcoming obstacles. So, when you get stuck, there are challenges which are blocking you. So, there are issues in a project management terms. So, you have issues and impediments coming in because of internal or external reasons. Leadership is all about ensuring that we have a collaborative approach for resolving those issues. We remove them so that we move forward towards our goal. So, as a leader, you should be able to facilitate right goal setting, planning towards that goal, supporting various decision making and collaborative execution, taking care of changes and removing the impediments or issues or obstacles you are getting during the way. So, that is a kind of the activities or task leader is expected to do towards the project. Now let's look at a people domain and first look at the common thing which will be applicable for individuals, teams as well as stakeholders. So individual means individual team member, that's the word I am using. Team is the project team. You can have a multiple groups also in the project team, and the stakeholders are who are beyond the project team. I understand in general the stakeholder also includes the team, but for the clarity's sake we want to understand how possibly a leader might be influencing or doing things a little bit additional here and there. So these are the one which I believe are common, like empathy. So leadership is all about having an empathetic approach. We learn about our this particular thing when we learn about a principle about steward. So it's all about empathetic approach to an individual, team as well as stakeholder, building trust. Now if I am a leader, people should be able to trust me. If people are not trusting me, I am not demonstrating leadership. Now how do I make people trust me? I need to have my personal character, and we will talk about that. So ability to ensure that I will really take them towards the right path, help us in building trust. So as a leader, I should have an empathetic approach, and which should help me in building trust amongst the team members, amongst the team as a whole, as well as with the stakeholders. I should be able to manage and work with conflicts, navigating conflicts which might be happening inside my team, navigating conflict which might be having inside an individual may also goes through their own conflicts, and navigating conflict which might be happening amongst the stakeholder or between team member and stakeholders. So ability to ensure a common vision, common alignment, ability to facilitate conversation, ability to listen people well, make other people listen, help me in resolving conflict. Mentoring and coaching. Leadership is all about developing individuals, developing teams and developing stakeholders. So leadership is all about providing mentoring and coaching in the different areas related to the project to various people group, yeah, so individual, team as well as stakeholders. So you should be doing mentoring and coaching, you should be doing effective mentoring and coaching. Effective communication. So many times communication is seen just an ability to speak, whereas effective communication is just not about only speaking, identifying the right amount of communication, the right frequency of communication, listening before you speak, observing and sensing various other external communications are happening, listening them, and then finding out what is the right communication we should do to our individuals, teams as well as to stakeholders. By way of doing this communication, I ensure that they remain aligned towards project objective, they understand the impediment which we are facing, and they also resolve conflicts if there are any. So effective communication is one of the competency or a skill you see in the leadership space. Influence and motivate. So as a leader, one should be able to influence individuals, teams and stakeholders. Yeah. Influencing is helping them or moving them towards a particular direction. Many times it requires motivating as well. So as a leader, I should understand, or as a leadership behavior, I should have an ability to understand that different individual may have a different motivation drivers. So ability to sense the motivation driver, ability to create the appropriate incentives or motivations based on their motivation driver is something is also goes along with your leadership skills. So you should be able to motivate your team member as well as your stakeholder. So these are the things which are generically applied to teams as well as stakeholder as well as individual. On top of it, I would like to stress again, though it is already covered here, the engagement is a key for the stakeholders. So my stakeholder should feel comfortable talking to me, my stakeholder should feel comfortable giving feedback to me, I should feel comfortable asking feedback from the stakeholders, I should be engaging them at all appropriate level, and my ability to engage stakeholders is one of the critical leadership competency I need in order to get my project executing towards my project goal. So that's a stakeholder, so we understand. So you got this idea, we spoke about project, we spoke about stakeholder, and these are the things which are generically applicable to people. Now let's look at a team. On top of all these things, empathy, trust building, conflict management, mentoring, coaching and all, you might be focusing on developing team, developing them in a self-organizing, high-performing unit so that they can take their own decisions, so they can become more effective on their own and they are not dependent on you. So as a leader, you have a goal of creating a team which grows in handling their own conflicts, doing their own planning, having mechanism to make a decision by way of team charter or agreements, so that they are less and less relying on you. So, team level ability. Individuals. So, on top of all empathy and other things, you should be able to help people to build their own skills, identify their own strengths and weaknesses, understand their own mental models, so that you can grow them by way of giving them feedback and helping them in taking more advanced and challenging roles. So, one of the leadership role is challenging people, taking them beyond their current boundaries, make them see which they are unable to see on their own. That something is go as an individual leadership space as well. So, as a role of a leader is I grow people, I make them think, I make them look at their own strength, and then I give them an opportunity where they can experiment, so that they become more and more valuable for the project as well as they grow their own skills. Now, after looking at external views, the project and team, individuals and stakeholder, this is more like an internal view of a leadership. So, what is about leadership, or it can be called as a self-leadership, what is happening inside me. Yeah. So, the behavior of a leader which is more centered towards your own action, I am putting into the category of self. So, leaders are expected to demonstrate good amount of self-awareness. They understand their own biases, they understand their own strengths, weaknesses, they understand what kind of things they are expert in, where they should do coaching, where they should do mentoring, where they should ask for help. They should have a complete self-awareness about their emotions and about their capabilities. That's a skill which is expected to be in the leader. Active listening, which helps you in doing rest of the job, and it's more about trusting people's competency, giving them empathetic listening, which is empathy is all around, and by active listening you can do that. The another important stuff which we were talking about when we were talking about trust, role model. So, leaders should understand that their behavior is getting scrutinized each and every moment. The team members, the other people, stakeholders are always watching them and seeing that how well the leader is demonstrating the values, ethics, commitment. So, you as a leader should be a role model of integrity, adaptability, honesty, all the things which you have, ethical behavior which you have as a promoted in your project team. You should be a living example of that particular behavior. So, leadership is all about role modeling the desired behavior. So, by looking at these various aspects, if I go back and say that okay, this all helped me in delivering the project result, and we can visualize this that okay, we have to deliver a value, we need to get the desired resources, we need to influence people, material, alignment and overall processes towards the business value delivery, and that's all about applying the leadership, and I should be adaptive in my leadership style, and that's what we are saying here. Demonstrate and adapt leadership behavior. So, behavior you saw before, so you understand all the possible behavior. These are examples, there could be more behaviors as well. So, demonstrate and adapt leadership behavior to support individual and team needs, which ultimately help us in achieving project objectives.